Builder Cheetah is really into Dav Pilkey. He loves Dogman and Captain Underpants, and one day he asked me to make George and Harold from Captain Underpants in BrickHead form. And so we actually worked on some of these together, but I thought I'd kind of show you what we created and how we created it. And for those of you who don't know Captain Underpants, this is George Beard on the left with the tie and flat top, and this is Harold Hutchins on the right with the t-shirt and bad haircut. And most of the books and TV shows start that way, so a little Captain Underpants trivia. But let's start with George Beard with his tie and flat top. Now, the basic design is pretty simple and much like your other BrickHead. So we have 3 1x2 plates for the legs, and to do that I did a dark 1x2 plate for his tennis shoes, a 1x2 white plate for his socks, and then a dark bluish gray 2x4 plate and a 4x4 plate to create the hips and pants of George Beard. And now the reason I did dark bluish gray and dark blue is because if you look at the pictures, George Beard and Harold Hutchinson match, where George's shoes match Harold's pants and Harold's shoes match George's pants. So I thought it was kind of a fun little detail that I wanted to make sure I included. And so once we move on that, we have the body now. And as you notice, this tie moves a lot, but we'll get to why that happens. But for the tie, George had a very like triangular and diamond shaped tie. So I wanted to use this 1x1 plate with tooth in red to recreate his tie. I thought it was a very nice, accurate representation. And it does move a lot, but you can position it and just display it, and I think it looks really nice compared to the TV show and books. But the way I put this tie on was I have, let's see if I can get it off now because I don't have my brick separator. I've got the usual 1x4 brick on the bottom in white, and then I have a 1x1 brick and a 1x1 brick on the side, and in the center I did one of those 1x2 bricks with the center hole, and then just put a Technic pin inside so I could attach my tie to that Technic pin piece up high. And then on the back, all you have is 2 2x4 bricks, and then the side is basically made how you would any other brick head, with the 1x2 plate underneath, and then you've got the skeleton brick head on the side here to attach the arms. And the reason I did a 4x4 plate on the top in white instead of skin color is because if you look at the artwork, they have no necks. They're all like body and head. So that's why I made it the same color as the shirt. And now for the arms, we've got the typical 2x2 plate underneath, the 1x2 tile on the top to represent his sleeves, and then we've got the clip for his hand. But Builder Cheetah had this little like ice cream piece in his Lego collection, and so we used that for the hypno ring that George and Harold used to turn their principal, Mr. Krupp, into Captain Underpants. But I think that piece, that ice cream piece, is just a perfect match to the hypno ring, and we just put it on one of those little the minifigure grips that we see. I'm not sure what this piece is called. It's a 1x1 plate with some kind of handle for the minifigures, but we just use this for the hypno ring that they use for Captain Underpants. And I'll just put that right back. And then for George's head, very simple, basic BrickHead form where you've got the basic layout is the same for most BrickHeads. So I won't go into too much detail, but to create the hair on the flat top, I did a 2x4 plate on the front, so it kind of goes over a bit, a 1x4 plate in the center, and then a 2x4 plate again in the back. So it just kind of goes a little bit forward. So we've got a 1x5 square on the top for his flat top. And since it's a flat top, I left the bumps. I didn't use tile pieces. And then if you look at the cartoon again, it's like he's got sideburns, but they don't go all the way to the front of the head. They're kind of in the back. So I only put his hair on the back 1x2 area in the back on the very top, and then on the back on the bottom. So it's a very thin little kind of area on the side that has his black hair. But this is my George Beard BrickHeadz. And now for Harold Hutchins, he was a lot more complicated to make. Now again, the shoes are made the same, the legs, I use those 1x2 plates and the 2x4 plates. And again, we just kind of matched George here with the same color. But the shirt, now we originally read Captain Underpants comics in black and white, or the books in black and white. So I had no idea what his color of his shirt was. And then we started watching the Netflix series, and in the Netflix series, it's a dark green and a light green coloring. So we just used a lot of plates, 1x4 plates, 1x2 plates of alternating light green, dark green, light green, dark green, again, all the way up to the neck again, because they have no neck, so it's all shirt. And this is the color Netflix uses, but the comic books, we actually later got in color, and sometimes he wears a red and white striped shirt. So you can get creative with these colors, but I did like light green and dark green because it's not a color you see very often, so it definitely helps say, hey, this is Harold Hutchinson. So I like that. And again, the arms are very typical for your BrickHead fashion. I use the light bluish gray, I used the dark green or the regular green color for his sleeves just because that's what I had. I didn't have two light green tile pieces, but you can use whatever you want. And then this was a Builder Cheetah thing where he wanted to give him a trophy, because in the Netflix series there's a kind of a running joke about the Thumbs Uppy Awards. So he wanted to give Harold the Thumbs Uppy Award since George is carrying the Hypno Ring. And then the face, very standard BrickHead face, so I won't go into a lot of detail with that. And the back is just the 4x4 plate with two 2x4 plates in the back to get it bumpy. And the reason I use the bumps instead of tiles to smooth it out is because Harold is described as having like the bad haircut, and there's a lot of swirls and twists in the artwork, so I did not want to make his hair smooth. And then for the top, this is actually very difficult, and not all this stuff, but Builder Cheetah was very adamant. He wanted to only use the yellow pieces found in the Go Brick Me set. So this entire top, all these pieces can be found on the Go Brick Me set to create the crazy florid hair of Harold Hutchins here. But to do this hair piece, I'm going to take some of these off so you can see what we did. What I had to do is in the center here, I did one space in from the back. So this is the back of my BrickHead, and I put a 2x4 plate in the center, and then another 2x4 plate, so it's kind of going over the top. So there's nothing down here, and then it's two 2x4 yellow plates. And then in the back, I put two of these 2x2 curved slope pieces to kind of start getting the hair to shoot up. And then in the center, past those, I just cut my nails, so of course it's going to be very hard to remove some of these pieces without my brick separator, so bear with me as I try to get those pieces off and show you. Maybe I should have just grabbed a brick separator before I started filming, but I'm like, no, I can do this. I will do this. Let's see if it's coming off. Ah, got a piece off. Yay. See, it's just perseverance. That's what you got to do. So what we did was we did another 2x4 plate to raise it up a bit, and then a 2x2 plate in the center, so I could put these 4x1 curved slopes in and put them over the top like this. And that was kind of the second layer, the middle part of his hair. And then to get to go all the way over, we have this one part, our first layer, where it's basically a 2x4 plate hanging over. I got a 2x4 plates, although I didn't have enough. I said this is BrickHead, so there's one 2x4 plate and two 2x2 plates to get this two layers thick. And then we added these slope pieces and put it so that the slope pieces went all the way across the top and over. So what we did was when we got those pieces on, there was 4 of them, and they just kind of hang over the top like this. And what I did was I put the back, where these are sloping, on that one row of plates, and we got the overhang for Harold Hutchins' hair. And like I said, this was Builder Cheetah actually was an amazing amount of help in creating this hair. He came with a lot of the ideas, especially this front part, and how to get it to go up and over his head so magnificently. So here is my George Beard and Harold Hutchins. I say, here is me and Builder Cheetah's George Beard and Harold Hutchinson BrickHeadz. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe or check out some of our other videos. Until next time, let's keep building together.